Colby, so everybody that we're showing, it doesn't show anybody, just us. There's no, it doesn't show if there's anybody from the public on it.
Someone named Katie's on there. Let me go back. Let me go right back. I have to
Okay.
go do something real quick.
Yes.
with
And we
YouTube.
go to participants.
Yeah. Go on.
Got it. Okay.
So we have as far attendees. Look at attendees.
Okay, got it.
And attendees, we have Jonathan, Katie, and Lionel Maros. And as far as I'm told that Jonathan is not yet a committee member, so we'll keep him in the attendees list. And Katie and Lionel are not either. Okay, so Shannon, you can go start the meeting whenever you're ready.
Shannon, announce the time, please.
Okay, I'm going to call the GTLNC public safety meeting to order. It is now 7:04 p.m.
Great.
All right, we'll
Okay.
do.
Great. Let's
We'll
do
do roll.
call.
Okay.
Shannon,
Here.
Colby,
Here.
Robin, I'm here. Tess,
Here.
Kevin. Kevin,
I don't see him. He's not in the attendees.
Lee?
So I don't
Lee.
see Lee either.
Okay, Ron.
Here.
Great. Hi, Ron. Sean.
I don't see him either.
I don't see him either. Okay, we have quorum, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 present.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to move to the minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes?
The minutes were not on the website that I could see, unless I'm missing them.
They're in the email.
Ron, did you get them?
They were in
Got
the
them
email.
Email. I got them in the email.
Okay. Let's see.
See if they're
All
on the
right,
website.
so motion A to approve. the
Robin, do you
Yeah.
mind waiting until we establish where the minutes are? So would
Okay.
you mind, please?
Well, we have to get a first and second before we even discuss it.
Okay,
So do you mind if I read it?
Go
go
for it.
ahead.
Okay, thank you. Motion A to approve the GTLNC November 7th, 2022 Public Safety Committee minutes. Do I have a first?
First.
Ron, thank you. Do I have a second?
Shannon.
Shannon, thank you. Okay, open for discussion. The minutes, Tess is looking for them, but Ron said they're in the email.
Okay, I found the email, but is there a reason that they were not posted?
They are supposed to be posted. I got a confirmation that they were.
Sure.
It is New Year's. It was a New Year's holiday. Lisa confirmed that they were there. So I haven't checked, but it is holidays and a lot of people, there may have been, I don't know.
I don't see them. I didn't see them post. I looked online. I saw. I've been out of town, but I just got in. I saw the November 7th under the November
Yeah,
7th minute.
November
It said
7th.
it would actually at October. So it might be.
Yeah, our
incorrect.
last meeting was November 7th.
Yeah.
Right, but when you click on that link, it takes you to October.
Oh, okay.
So I don't. Jonathan's
No, it
raising
would
his hand.
be-
Maybe
it would
Jonathan.
be under
Jonathan,
doc-
hold on.
It-
Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. I spent time trying to find them online. I want to remind you that in my public comments last week, I talked about the minutes being posted as if they were already approved. It's not acceptable anymore to continue voting on minutes that aren't properly posted. I couldn't find them.
Yeah, I don't. So let's just say they're not posted. I don't see them posted. We're gonna move.
Hey, Colby,
Shannon, it's your meeting.
did you go to the website?
Yes, and
Okay.
I looked earlier, and I didn't see them right now. Also, when I
Can we
click on
table
when I click on the link for the date for which the meeting took place, or should it be there? It takes you to October instead of November.
Can we table it till next month? then?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We do. I suggest we do that.
Okay, so we will table this till next month.
Yeah,
And then we'll make sure that
we'll
everybody has
they're
it.
on properly.
Yeah, can we make sure that the minutes are posted? And I appreciate that they were emailed to me, but I typically, it's not consistent with the various committees. Some chairs email them and others post them. So just
So
having,
Robin, between Robin and I, will make sure that
Well,
everybody,
the email is a courtesy. It's not a mandatory thing. So it was done for courtesy, and it should be on the website. I'm not sure why, because I did get confirmation that it was there, although I was away for the holidays, so I didn't check. But we will look into that.
thank you. And I'd like to also make a point of order, please, about the composition of this committee, which has been brought up before. The composition is presently illegal. We are in violation of our own bylaws. And if it's going to be a joint meeting, it needs to be indicated as such, which it isn't. So this is problematic. You know, we have a process by which our bylaws are approved, and you know, we're currently in violation of our own bylaws, so we
what is
cannot
that we're in
operate.
violation? What is it that we're doing?
Okay, we have, Shannon, we have 7 committee members who are also board members. And our
Oh.
bylaws, this is not a problem that you created, Shannon, but it has occurred because there are so many current seated board members who are now also a member of this committee. So,
gotcha.
you know, now that everyone is aware of this violation, if we continue to ignore it, then we're willfully, intentionally violating it. So the thing that we have to do is remove 3 people from this committee who are board members, okay? And that has to happen now. Now, I would suggest that there are several members of this committee who are de facto resigned because they simply don't show up. It would probably be good to, as a courtesy, to either call them or email them. I think we know, who those non-appearing committee / board members are. And then, we can discuss amongst ourselves who of the remaining 5 board members should step down as a committee member of this committee. So, but right now we're in violation of our own bylaws, and we can't do that. So I want to put that out there. We could do a, last in, first out. I'm certainly open to how you want to handle this, but it needs to be addressed.
Right, and then we can put this on talk about new business. We can discuss this then for Shannon, whatever you want to do, or put it on the agenda for next month. And there is something new in the bylaws, or that if a member misses, I believe, 3 meetings, and I think there are 1 or 2 people on this list who have missed about 3 meetings, then they will be excused permanently.
Well, it's not a matter of excusing them, Colby. It's a matter of.
I know. Well, I was using a nicer term. They will be removed.
Okay. So, and, no one's trying to boot anybody, but, we have to comply with our own bylaws. Otherwise we're, what's the point?
Absolutely.
We understand. And I don't really need, I'm really just here to help, the onboarding process for Shannon. I'm more than pretty much okay leaving. Seriously. So
well,
let's just go forward. We don't want to beat this dead horse.
Colby, we can't shove this under the carpet. So if you're removing yourself from the committee voluntarily, then that's one. And then the other 2 frequently absent committee members they're de facto resigned. So then we would be in compliance.
So would I go ahead then and notify these 2 and let them know that where we're going with this?
Yeah, that we're, you can have a nicely worded email saying that you consider them, de facto resign. You can refer to both to the, the rule in the bylaws, which is, where is it? That we have to. Section 3, committee creation and authorization, committee membership, and to the standing rule about absenteeism. And then, my impression is that neither of those 2 frequently absent committee members are going to mind too much, but I think a courtesy call would be a good idea. And with that, we've reconstituted our committee to be, as far as the seated board members are, myself, you, Shannon, Sean Besharati, and Robin Allen. Ron Babini, of course, remains a committee member, but he's not an elected board member. So are we clear on that?
Yes.
Okay, great. Then I think we can move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a good way to start out the new year. Okay.
Excellent.
Thanks, Tess. Okay, so we moved through minutes. Officer Delbar.
No, we're gonna go to public comment.
Oh,
first.
okay, I'm sorry.
No
Thank
worries.
you.
And you have Lionel Mares.
Okay, Lionel, let me see. Ask him,
Here's 2 minutes.
Good evening, colleagues. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Taylor, Kobe, and Robin. It's a pleasure seeing you again, fellow colleagues. Just wanted to chime in and say hello, and I look forward to working with you. I'm feeling really optimistic about the new year. I hope to see some change in our city council. I'll be pressuring them, bird dogging them, whatever, in a polite way, of course, in my own way. And I'm working behind the scenes in our council district. Oh, wait. And trying to hopefully elect somebody who will represent us in our plight to improve our way of life. And so I'm just here just to learn, observe, and to, I guess, because it's a public safety committee, right?
Yes.
Keep officers to make sure they're doing their jobs, because I'm still very upset about the catalytic converter theft and all that crimes. I mean, I know we don't have a crime rate. I know it has statistically down, but still there's certain parts of the city, certain pockets where there's an increase in certain types of crimes, because I study sociology, so depending on what part of the city we're talking about, but still we have to make sure officers are doing their jobs, because I feel like Chief Moore, one last thing, Chief Moore's looking for a second term. So I think, because it's a public safety committee, I think it'll be a good idea to look and to do more research, whether or not, I think as a neighborhood councils, we should create a community impact statement, whether or not to support another term for Chief Moore. Personally, I don't think he should serve another term because he has failed in his job personally, but I'm not here to dictate my views on you. That's up to you to decide, because you're all wonderful, intelligent people, but I'm just here to encourage you to research. And I know it's a lot of things going on, but thank you so much.
Lionel, thank you so much. Much appreciated. Happy New Year. Okay.
Next up, I saw Katie's hand raised.
Okay, so I'll allow to talk. Hi, Katie, you're on.
Hello there. Hi, everyone. Hello, Tess.
Hi, guys.
I just wanted to, first of all, thank all of you, and particularly Tess, who my neighbor Nancy and I work so closely with on a lot of issues that are in the West Toluca Lake area. And my main concern that I'd like to talk about is the lack of lighting that is on Horton Street, which is the street that I live on. And I am right on the corner. Until recently, when the Riverside lights, perhaps maybe just within the past week, have come on, it is a dark and scary place to walk down Horton Street. And particularly when the homeless camp is really going and they walk down Riverside and, will oftentimes pass by my house. And I even had a somewhat scary incident where someone charged at me and I couldn't even see him coming really from the shadows. It was just so dark. So I don't know what is being worked on with that, where we are with it, but we really need some assistance. I know throughout the city, but I'm going to speak particularly about Horton Street.
Thank you. I guess I'm supposed to comment. So we're going to talk about streetlights later today.
Okay.
What's going on?
Yeah,
Thank you.
this is just public comment.
Okay.
Okay. My public comment is we need streetlights on Horton Street.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Katie.
And then after that, after her, I saw Nancy.
Okay.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Hello, thank you very much. I'm piggybacking on Katie, who is my neighbor. I'm also my little block captain. I'm also involved with all the monthly cleanups that we do in West Toluca Lake, which is the most astounding amount of disgusting trash you've ever seen, and it can be back the next day. I'll piggyback on the street lighting for Hortense, because I was very much reporting always that we had no street lights under the freeway. That has helped with the homeless problem. So I thank you all for, and I thank the guys that I brought donuts to out there that were putting the street lights up. It all matters. It all matters to our safety. I have to say, I report a lot of things when they happen, and I'm particularly frustrated personally when I get back a little note saying from, not from you guys, but that it's been taken care of, and I can look out my street and see that it hasn't been taken care of. So I feel a little bit dismissed, and I am one of the active people in the neighborhood trying. I'm out there cleaning the streets. I'm not just complaining about the streets. I actually put up before Christmas lights in my front yard because it is so dark on Hortense that you can't take a walk. I've taken to reporting street lights anywhere I go in the city, even where I'm not a resident, because it's not just us on Hortense, it's all over. And it's really, we have enough trouble in this city with crime. And I'm a person who's had my catalytic converters stolen 3 times from my driveway with different cars. So I'm piggybacking on that, but I also would like to say that the homeless issue is one of my personal crusades. I would love people to have safe, lovely places to live, but I would also like my rights back to be able to walk down a sidewalk that I'm not walking over someone's human waste. How else can I say that? Nor is it safe. So thanks for all you do. And I just know I'll keep reporting and keep being on the phone and keep picking up trash. So
yeah, and Nancy, if you certainly forward me any 311 requests that are considered closed. And
well, if you even look at, they've closed the request to fix the pavement out in front of our house.
We are reopening that one.
Yeah, it's closed, but when Katie next door spoke to them, they didn't have enough of the whatever the stuff they used to clean. It was not asphalt or blacktop, whatever. They didn't have enough. So all they did was fill 1 or 2 little holes. So now, unless you know what you're doing, you're dumping right into a bigger hole behind where they kind of built up like a skateboard ramp.
Right.
So you got to know.
Well, resubmit it to me and I will get it over to them and make it a priority. Thank you.
Or,
Nancy.
however, I'm going to go, if you want my
Okay.
order of things, I'm going to go street lights, homeless, and then the corner.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Nancy.
Thank you all. Goodbye.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay,
Happy
thanks.
New Year.
Thank you.
And
Okay,
then I saw Jonathan Gregory.
John, let's see, you got Jonathan? Hi, Jonathan.
Yeah, our Jonathan.
Hi, thank you. Lansing Linari, who I don't believe I've ever met, just so you understand this, is my idea of a good citizen. I'm very glad she's here and speaking like that. On my comments on the November 7th meeting, I talked about accountability. I don't like this agenda at all. I want you to know that I'm disappointed in this committee when I read this agenda. It shows the effort of a kindergartner to me. I'm just going to be straightforward. We're not here to make each other feel good. The purpose we're here is to defend the interests of the stakeholders. This is not my idea of an agenda that addresses the interests of the stakeholders. We are living in a city that the new mayor has decided we're under a state of emergency. Clearly, there's something wrong going on in Los Angeles. And when I look at this just now, Shannon, you said we're going to be talking about streetlights. I don't see that as one of the agenda points.
Jonathan, I don't know if I can interrupt. I did already talk to Robin. I forgot to put it on there. So I do have a couple of things we're adding.
You're
they're
new,
right. So my
completely
apologies.
forgivable, completely. I mean, I'm willing to be, I want to be personable, but at the same time, we're here for stakeholders, all right? I don't want to see any board member working to undermine the stakeholder interests, as I saw last month. That was a devastating experience for me, and I wrote a letter to be real clear that people understand I'm not going to put up with any board member who suppresses the voices of a stakeholder or the interests, the pursuit of the interests of the stakeholders. This agenda needed more work. I said in the last months, in November 7th, in my public statement, that when you write the agenda, at the very minimum, you should be talking to people whose feet are on the ground and know what's going on. I was there all in December. And in December, there was a resurgence of homeless people around the Lancashire exit ramp on the northbound 101 to the tune of like 15 zombie-like people within 5 feet of your car when you stopped at the exit ramp stop sign. Then underneath the Vineland underpass, you got more tents. You got all these people. And frankly, I am sick, totally fed up with lies. We've been listening to lies from public officials. I've attended lots and lots of meetings in the last month, and we have work to do in this committee. This is the most important committee for the safety. We've had a homicide in West Toluca Lake. That should cause everyone a non-playful attitude toward what goes on in the work of this committee. Tess is the one who went and got the streetlights turned on. I was the one in the meeting in the public with Tess at the public services in front of the commission officers who didn't know anything about all the crap going on in West Toluca Lake. But now they know because Tess and I were at that meeting. Tess went all the way down to downtown
I
LA.
don't
Excuse
know
me.
who has a TV on. but maybe
John
they can-
Colby, could you please mute whoever
I don't
is?
know who that is.
It's probably a member of the public.
I'm working on it.
I think it might be Katie.
Okay, and also that's
Katie,
over
I can't
3
unmute you.
minutes
Katie, can you please
time.
leave the meeting? Or
Okay.
mute yourself?
Yeah, there we go.
And that was 3
And then
minutes.
Jonathan, we're well over 3 minutes.
Well, if you couldn't hear what I was saying, I want my
We-
No,
time
we
back.
we heard you loud and clear,
exactly
Jonathan.
what you were saying, John.
And, but Robin, Shannon.
Let me wrap up my thoughts since I got interrupted with the comments of that. Let me just close in saying Tess did all that work to get the streetlights turned on. A board member should have been there just like me at that meeting of the Public Works. That's our community and you're the board members. And if I can show up there, Tess certainly is motivated. If I can show up to support her work, so can other board members. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't see any other hands raised for public comment. So Shannon, you move forward.
Okay, we'll move to Officer Delbar. Welcome. Happy New Year.
Hey, you guys. Sorry, I'm a little under the weather, so I apologize for some random coughing that you're going to hear in the background.
Oh, so sorry to hear that.
Oh, okay. Happy New Year, you guys. How's everyone doing?
Thank you.
Happy New Year, Curtis.
Yeah, I'm battling it for a while. It's going around the family, so it's fun times over here. So real quick, I'm gonna hit up some year-end stats. We have zero change in our homicides year to date. Our rates are down 6%. Our robberies are up 9%. Our aggravated assaults are down 10%. Our burglaries are up about 7%. Our grand theft autos are up 7%. Our burglary from motor vehicles are down 25%. And our thefts are down 1%. So it gives us totals of about 9% decrease in our crime year to date, which is huge. A nice way to end off the year. And then unfortunately, the map for December was not completed yet because of New Year's, and they're not quite done with it. So we're going to go over November's map. And what I'm seeing in November's map is we're seeing a trend of actual burglaries from motor vehicles in the Toluca Lake area and a little bit of grand theft autos. So I really want to reiterate the lock it, hide it, keep it mantra that we were talking about. We're talking about this in our meeting also. I just wanted to push this out. This out to the community, the importance of that. And then secondary is the catalytic converters. We're still seeing a huge uptick in those, and that's obviously across the entire city. In our Hondas and our Toyotas primarily, as we're seeing at Toyota Priuses, they tend to focus on. And then one of the other things I wanted to mention is the My LA 311 application. For using that, definitely to help with items that you see on the streets, whether it's a couch, a Christmas tree. That brings my next agenda point for Christmas trees. Sometimes during this time of the year after Christmas, we see trees being discarded on the sidewalk, and some people will choose to light those trees on fire. And those trees go up very, very quickly. So if I think there's a program of sanitation where they will come pick up your tree, go ahead and please schedule that, and don't leave your tree out for too long, as minimal as possible, because we want to try and minimize those trees being lit on fires. It can become a real problem. and then we're just chasing Christmas tree fires all night, typically from 1 or 2 people. And that is all. Oh, the last thing I wanted to bring is I was reviewing some emails and I saw more package theft that is occurring in the Toluca Lake area. So please, I said this before and I'll continue to say it. If you want your package, there's ways you can get it, whether it's notifying a neighbor to come help you, pay attention when it's picked up, or having it dropped off at a facility that's locked and you can go pick it up at a later time. But sorry for powering through this. I'm just having a rough time right now.
Curtis, quick question about, it's probably 2 weeks now. There were at least one fire lit on one of the cement benches in front of the Discovery Shop. And somebody mentioned that there was a second one. So have you heard anything about some fires being lit? It looked like a blanket, like maybe a homeless person maybe was sitting there trying to stay warm and maybe it caught on fire, but it scorched the bench. You saw it, right, Shannon? I sent you pictures and you
Yes,
saw
and then it was cleaned up by some in our community.
Okay.
And then it was also, there was a videotape of it and it was looked like to be a homeless person. And I'm not sure if they were trying to keep warm or what the situation was, but that's what was told to us by the videotape, which I have not seen.
Okay.
So from what I've heard, it does appear that it is a homeless individual that is doing it. It's not like one person that goes and lights everything on fire. I think it was a very momentary thing and it's a one-time thing. I'm really hoping for that. But we are trying to deal with this individual. And it's alleged that this person did do it. So we just have to confirm that there's some video evidence so we can mark who that person is and deal with that accordingly.
Would you like me to have the person contact you who has a video?
Yes, much
Okay.
appreciated.
Officer Delbar, I'm so sorry you're under the weather. Are you still doing double duty for Sean Smith in Studio City? Is he still out?
Yeah, so I'm still covering the Studio City area while he's out with an injury.
Oh, no. Okay.
We're trying to
So,
help and in both areas.
yeah, we have to recognize that Curtis and in fact, the entire police force is stretched really thin right now. I think you're down 900 officers, at least, but we had similarly a report of a fire. Let's see, it was on New Year's Day from some neighbors at the overpass on Moore Park Street between Tahunga and Vineland. And this was at a homeless encampment, but it was, I understand, an open campfire. I was notified and I called LAFD Captain Porter over at Station 86, and he was kind enough to drive by it and found that the fire was already out. So what, let's say you get the video from Shannon, or that there's a campfire here, in the neighborhood now on Moore Park that is likely to be lit again in the near future, especially given the temperature. What can we do to prevent that from happening if we know who the person is and if we know where the fire has been and is likely to take place again?
When that fire is going, the moment you see it or you see it about to go, you need to call 911 and have the FD respond as well.
I said, did you say 911, Curtis?
Yeah, 911.
Okay.
And 911 also send the fire department as well. If you have a direct contact, you can try doing that one as well. But the 911 will send police and fire right away. LAFD is definitely the one that's going to respond to those with the fires. Now, with those are you talking about the encampments under the bridge on Moore Park?
I think I see a hand here from Nancy Lenari, who is the one who reported it. She can give more specificity. Can we let her speak, Colby, please?
Yeah, usually we wouldn't go to public yet, but if Nancy, do you have something to add about this specific issue?
Yeah, I think she's the one
Well,
who
let's
reported
have
this.
Nancy answer.
Okay. Nancy?
Nancy, you there?
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't see the one. I can just say it was not a campfire. It was actually a Weber grill.
Okay.
that had flames about 3 feet high and there were a bunch of guys standing out. So my question would be, is a Weber grill something, if they respond to that call, do they take the Weber grill away or do they just wait till they find a Christmas tree to burn in the Weber grill? You know,
No,
is it taken away?
LAFD will probably not take that grill away. However, they will extinguish the fire if they see fit, obviously, and they should if there's an open flame. But my question was, is this under the bridge at Moore
Yes.
Park?
Yes, you know, right, where there's Woodbridge Park, if you're going westbound on Moore Park between Vineland and Tahunga, you have Westbridge Park on your left. Oh, no, I mean, I guess you have the freeway goes over, then you have Woodbridge Park on your left. It's right just east of Woodbridge Park, underneath the freeway, you know, across from that church.
Yes, right
You know what I'm
across.
talking about? Yes, that was where it was. Thank you for letting me explain that.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, there are supposed to be cleanups at that location. Sometimes those cleanups do get delayed by sanitation for certain reasons, whether it be temperature or rain. So I don't know why they're still there, probably because it was raining or the temperature. So we're still working on that with sanitation and city council. But if you do see a flame, any kind of open flame, or like I said, anything starting to become a flame or fire or smoke, please call 911 right away and we get
Okay.
LAFD if possible. That's how you stop that.
Great. Thanks, Curtis. Anything else? Anything else new?
Yeah, just for complete clarification, Curtis, call 911, even if it's a Weber grill, any fire whatsoever.
Yeah, if you see any kind
Okay.
of open flame, 911, any kind of smoke, because smoke, if there's smoke, there's going to be fire soon.
Okay, good, got it. Any open fire, smoke, okay.
So the 911 dispatch will also notify LAFD if
Okay.
you do very clear, hey, I see smoke or I see open flames.
Got it.
And Curtis, have there been any other sightings of that black Dodge Durango that you and I discussed last week? Where
So
it
it's
looked
funny.
like
Actually, just before the New Year's, and I did not see it there, but doesn't say that it's going to come back. But I have had a few other people tell me the exact same thing. So it appears that you are right that cars were changed, and that's the car they are driving now.
What is the Dodge
yeah,
Durango?
it looks like, to me, it looked like a drug deal. I just got to say, it looked really, really suspicious. As you and I
Colby, what
discussed.
is about the Durango?
So the corner of Tolofa and Riverside Drive, kind of behind Coffee Bean.
Okay.
In that area, you know, it dead ends by the 134 there. I was parking with my family and I looked out and I saw this. I recognized the man from, remember that old Dodge minivan we always used to talk about with the wood paneling on the side.
There's a blue Dodge Caravan with wood paneling on it.
It was all rusty, and there's a lady and a man inside, and she's a panhandler, always begging for money outside Coffee Bean. And the man was, I don't know, I never had an interaction with him. Anyway, I saw that man and that woman in a relatively well-kept Dodge Durango, black. And there was apparently, it looked like a homeless woman approached this Dodge Durango. The Dodge Durango had windows down and it just parked there with those two individuals inside it and just sitting there. And then this woman in an orange hoodie who was walking very erratically approached the Durango through the window. There was an exchange made of something. Of one thing was given to the man, and the man then gave the woman in the orange hoodie, who I believe is a homeless person with some issues, emotional issues, looked like a white package of something. And I thought that's strange. And Curtis, I had just seen you a moment before passing by, and then so I immediately and then the woman in the hoodie walked away, and then the man saw me staring at him, and then he threw out, well, as he saw me staring at him, he threw out something through the passenger side window onto the sidewalk. So I immediately texted Curtis and called, and then I went in a Coffee Bean, came out, and then I saw two LAPD officers, not Curtis, but two other ones, speaking to the woman in the orange hoodie, who I had exchanged something with the man in the Dodge Durango. And after the two LAPD officers were finished interviewing that woman in the hoodie, that woman then walked off westward towards Foreman through the alley. And then I approached the two LAPD officers and I explained what I saw. and they said, okay, they go talk to the man in the Dodge Durango. They went and talked to him, came back to me and said that the man in the Dodge Durango handed what he handed the woman in the orange hoodie was a pack of cigarettes. And in fact, they were told that it was not drugs. He was just handing the apparent homeless woman cigarettes.
Colby, we may have a license plate for that car. It's been cited in
I
our
have
neighborhood.
I have this on video also. I have. a
Oh,
license plate.
good. Can we compare notes?
Yes. And then as I was leaving, the officers then says nothing else to do because they thought it was just cigarettes. So then I got in my car and drove away down the alley, and I saw that woman in the orange hoodie sitting on the corner of the alley, and Foreman kind of shaking. You know, she looked like she had some major issues and should receive some help. And subsequently, I've seen that Dodge Durango almost every day. I go to Coffee Bean every day, practically, and I've seen that Dodge Durango with that man in that car, sitting in the car, almost every time I walk through that intersection. He has his windows down. To me, it looks like he's a drug dealer, but I might be wrong. That's all.
Can you share with us the license plate number?
You know, I don't know if I should. I guess I can. You know, I don't want to.
It's probably something better. Hey, Colby.
It might be a privacy issue. Chris, what do you think?
It's probably
You know,
something
because
better.
if he's not a drug dealer, I don't want to accuse someone of being a drug dealer.
Okay, well, fair enough.
But I'll text you. I will text you. I'll give you that information after the meeting.
I would like
Can
to
you-
add on this. Officer Delbar, I had contacted him about, we had several homeless people over the holiday.
Shannon, may I, before you go to the next topic?
No, it's
Colby,
not the next
could-
topic.
sorry, but before we get off the license plate number, Colby, could you text it to me? Because one of my neighbors has reported seeing the same one, and it might
Okay.
be, yeah,
Okay.
anyway, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Go
there are
ahead,
not many
Shannon.
Dodge Durangos like this. There are not many of these cars. It's not like a
Great,
very common.
okay.
Well,
I'll do
I
it.
spoke to Officer Delbar through our emails. We did have some several individuals that were homeless in our area, and they're kind of acting erratic. And so I wanted to make clear with him asking, what does the public do? Because I know, you know, with what Jonathan was saying, we are a safety committee, but also it's important, you know, we're not every place all the time. So to let the public know what can be done and to contact us. And so if I can speak for you, Officer Delbar, if someone is, he wrote, if someone is sleeping in a doorway and blocking an ingress, egress, contact the police, the 1877 ask LAPD. And if someone needs help and outreach to contact the council office. Oh, it says the council office can be contacted and or LA HOP through their website. And I think that's important for everybody to know, because we only act on like what we're being told. And so we're not, patrolling the streets. So whether people are contacting us, we do our, contact who we need to contact. But it's important for people to know to use the My 311 and who to contact when something comes up, when it happens. Because I know that it's people feel kind of disempowered, I guess would be this thing to say. And I think it's important to feel that people are listening. So thank you, Officer Delbar, for the information. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I just wanted to thank you for forwarding that information out. And that's very, very helpful, because LA Hop is one of the things that we do use. And the council office for at least helping out with outreach purposes. The only thing I would add is erratic behavior is a little bit general as far as constitutes, because it's not a crime to have some mental health issues and to be dealing with that. It becomes a crime, or no, it doesn't become, it becomes more of a public safety concern when they're running into the street, when they're lighting stuff on fire. Those are definitely more of an erratic situation, I would say. The other incidences, just something to note with LA Hop. It's not an emergency response. They do get there in a couple of days. So keep in mind that they will respond a couple of days later. So that person may not be there. So it helps to find where that person sleeps, if you know, and reference that spot for them to arrive there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you so much. Anything else for us, Officer Delbar?
I think Katie had her hand up a moment ago, but then she put it down. So Katie, we have a plate number from Colby that I'll share with you. We can compare notes and get that over to we'll get that over to Officer Delbar. Either way, if you don't have a comment, we'll let poor Officer Delbar go and rehabilitate.
Yes, we'll let him go to sleep. Okay, I think we're gonna move on.
Feel better.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy-
Happy New
Okay,
Year.
we're with Neighborhood Watch, Robin.
Actually, other than a break-in, it was kind of a smash on Whipple Street. The owner was not home, but everything went very well as far as there was cameras. There was a neighbor that witnessed the masked guys jumping into a white SUV BMW. ACS showed up, then they called for backup, then LAPD showed up. There were eyewitnesses. Everybody kind of came into place. It all happened very quickly. There was cameras, there was an alarm, but it still happened 8:30 at night. And Officer Delbar said to please, if you have an alarm, to set your alarm, to light up your house with motion sensors, and to make sure that, you know, it looks like someone's home. Get lights that turn on and off various times, and change your routine. Don't, because people are watching. And just because you think, you know, an older car might be a target, the newer cars like this white SUV BMW was the getaway car. So it's not just old beat up cars that are sitting there watching you. It's really nice cars too. So just be careful. And that's really all I have to report. It was kind of a quiet holiday season, thank goodness.
Thank you, Robin. Jonathan, would like to say something?
It's about Neighborhood Watch. Robin, can you help? I don't understand. Can you help me understand what is the organization of Neighborhood Watch, how it suits, how it serves all of Greater Toluca Lake? Do they have meetings amongst themselves? How many neighborhood watches are there? What parts of Greater Toluca Lake are covered and which are not? How many neighborhood watches are there, organizations? How's it organized, and who are you working with, and what parts? Tell me a little bit about the organization.
Well, I took it over as chair for Steve Hampar, who ran it for 20 years. I think it was 20 years. And I worked with him during that time, which is why he handed it over to me. And Jason Friedman also helps me. We work together. We had at one time 100 watch captains for our neighborhood watch, which is why Curtis Delbar constantly, and Rob Benavides for that matter, used to say that we have one of the safest neighborhoods in the community, I mean in the city, because of our active neighborhood watch. Tess is a watch captain. Colby's a watch captain. I'm a watch captain. And basically, Jonathan, how it works, it's all volunteer. Each street that wants to be part of the neighborhood watch has a watch captain. They have a list of neighbors from their street. And once a month, I receive a crime stat map that I forward on to all the watch captains, who then, and with any important information that might be happening that we need to look out for, and each watch captains will forward that on to their list. Their list is private. They BCC everybody. So they're the only one who has access to all those emails. And it really is street by street, and not every street is covered. Unfortunately, I'm still working on that. I've got lots of new prospects. And we were at one time 100 watch captains. I think we're down to maybe 80. You know, people move and they don't always tell us. And every now and then I reach out and ask if people are still active. Do you still have people that you reach out to? It's really kind of an organic thing, Jonathan. It's not formal. There's nothing nefarious about it. It's just people trying to help each other. I mean, you can talk to Tess about it. She's a watch captain and she holds meetings and takes care of her community. I mean, thank goodness for Tess. She's done a great job in West Toluca Lake. That's basically it.
And something
No
I've
one thinks
noticed
it's
too is,
nefarious.
Well, you know, it's not anything more than just a group of neighbors just trying to be aware and communicate. That's it.
What-
I mean,
What
it's
do you
not
need
like,
to get more streets involved in it? Because my understanding of neighborhood watches is they're very effective.
oh, they are quite effective. And we are at the moment talking with ACS. The homeowners is involved with us, and the homeowners is reaching out to ACS, who is the most widely used private security in our area. And they're going to create signs that have their logo and the homeowner's logo on it, and they're going to put them up throughout the neighborhood at maybe all the entrance points. So hopefully those new signs, when they finally get made, soon as they decide on where and what's going to go on it, and hopefully that'll help too, because an awareness that there's a really active neighborhood watch is very helpful.
Do we have a neighborhood watch in all of those areas near the underpasses?
We only have watch captain, and the watch captains are sporadic. So like Foreman Avenue, I think has 3 watch captains, whereas there are streets that don't have any. So it just depends on where it is. Now I have one watch captain that's outside of our boundaries, but she wanted to be part of it, or maybe I inherited her. I'm not really sure. But anybody who wants to be involved is involved. They just say, I want to be a watch captain. They get a list of 2 or 3 or 10 neighbors. They put an email list together, and I just send them that once a month email, and they forward it on to their people. So really the work is done by the watch captains. I'm just the convener and, sharing the information.
Robin,
Yeah.
with your neighborhood watch, it's
Uh-huh.
really more of a grassroots effort.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
so it's not like the city
Not
puts it,
formal.
it's the people want to get together and they do it take it upon themselves. Because I'm in Studio C, we take the initiative as a resident,
Right.
correct?
Yes. And we used to hold once a year annual meetings before COVID. And we do street watch captain meetings. So if you wanted to hold a watch captain meeting, we would come and speak to you about ways to be safe. And we could actually ask Officer Delvar if he's available to come and be part of that as well. So it was a lot more active before COVID. It's really slowed down, not as far as us getting the communication out, but as far as meeting in person.
Oh, Tess has her hand raised.
Oh,
Yeah. Robin, did you get my email on December 19th asking if I could get more signs?
No, I didn't, but I'm almost out of signs. I don't think I have any more signs. Actually, I gave you 20 of them.
Well, we used them all. Can
Great.
you believe it? Yeah. So,
oh, that's fantastic.
all right. So I don't want to say it out loud because I emailed you privately. I have an iCloud account. Should I send it to your GTLNC account?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll resend it. And if you could please let me know if there are any at all left, that would be great.
I'll check.
And to address Jonathan's comment, we have several block captains in West Toluca Lake. One of them just identified herself tonight, Nancy Lenari. We have them on Sarah Street, Blix, and I'm sort of a quasi block captain for my street. But I'm always looking for more people, and I forward Robin's materials when she sends them to me. And I also include the crime stats in our bulletins. So yeah.
Tess is really good in her area with communicating, and like I said, she's had meetings where she's talked about public safety, and her community feels very cohesive
And crime ridden.
Yeah.
But
Well,
hopefully
We're working on it.
We're gonna get that worked out, Tess.
Yeah.
I hope
Okay.
so. Thanks.
Anything else, Robin?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, so we're going to move along to ongoing business. I'm going to interject in our ongoing business about the street lighting. I'm sorry, I did forget to put this on. And I am going to start. So the street lights in Toluca Lake, like from Clybourne to Foreman, have come back on, and they were doing it. It was slow, but we got them back on. So, and just to Jonathan's point, as a chamber, through the chamber and through our council, we were in contact with Tiffany a lot, and we were on like kind of a back order, I guess you would say, because there's so much of the copper that was being taken out. So anyways, they've repaired it.
Sorry, Kate, I think it's Katie. Can you mute yourself? I hear that noise again.
Me?
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
That was Katie.
Okay. And so anyway, so we have them back, thank gosh. We have them from Clybourne back to Foreman on the south side, and then right the next block over on Wells Fargo, that's all lit. But
Are you talking Riverside, Shannon?
I'm sorry, Riverside
Okay.
Drive.
Okay.
Then when you go right past there where the median is, which I'll just state, in November was hit again, and 4 trees were taken out and 2 cars were hit, and it was a speeding alcohol issue or whatever. So, and it was very dark also. And so it's from that point on, from the median to, I believe, Vineland, most of the lights are out. And then with on your side with Tess that you've been working on, which is amazing, we have all those new street lights, which is amazing. And so my report is just that the constant working together. And, I think everybody's method is a little different. I have the tendency of, I might go straight to the council and just have that correspondence that goes on. And I know that Tess and Jonathan have gone to the meetings and much appreciated. And I think we just have to keep doing it. And going back to the public, the reporting that, Nancy was talking about, and Katie, it is so important for people to go out there. And, we're a council, but from having more people speaking out, from what I've been told from the councilman's office, that's what makes a difference.
Yeah, okay, so streetlights from Clybourne to Foreman on Riverside are back on. And
yes.
then from the median to Vineland, they're
I believe
out.
to Vineland. Yeah, there's might be some sporadic ones up, but
okay,
that one stretch from the median to Cahuenga, it's so dark.
Okay, so I think Katie was trying to speak. So
okay.
Let's see.
Her hand's up.
Yeah. So Katie, do you want to
Oh, I was actually, I don't need to speak. I was actually just going to say that I've been muted, and it's not me who is interrupting.
Okay.
No.
Thanks, Katie.
There's background noise from somebody, and we thought it might be you, but we apologize.
It's not Katie.
It's not me. I have to be unmuted to be able to speak. So
thank you. Okay.
So, and I will also say that there's a contractor that's been hired by the city, and I've dug deep into their contract. The name of the service provider is Servitech, and I've gotten to know the CEO and the supervisors because I've been out in the neighborhood, and I've met them while they're doing their work and asked them what they're up to and when are we going to get it done and so forth. Apart from going to the downtown to the Board of Public Works to testify in person and yell at them just a little bit, which resulted in the lights on Riverside coming on less than a week later. Jonathan was also at that meeting, and that was super helpful. So we'll continue to do that. And, I don't always go out late at night to see the lights, but if you shoot me a text or an email, Shannon, to let me know precisely where the street lights are still out. I'm not sure if that's part of the Riverside Drive project that Servitech was responsible for or not, but I will double check your details against the contract and get on them about that as well. And I will loop you into my email thread. Okay.
I appreciate that. And we will do that on the way home tonight. I'll get you the information, and it's much appreciated. That way we're on the same page, and I'm here.
Yeah, south side of the street, north side, between which intersections, and that's good to know. Excellent.
Okay, perfect.
Lionel has a hand raised, and then Jonathan after Lionel, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
Hi, Lionel.
Hi, thank you. I just want to say that we also have issues with speeding in my neighborhood. I understand that LADOT had a limited window on people to apply for a speed hump. I understand that it was like, I think 2 months ago, but very limited. I think that we should pressure City Council and LADOT to do more, install more, to do more about traffic calming measures. Anything to slow down motorists. And number two, regarding about street lighting, we also had the issue in my neighborhood and council district in NoHo, for example, that there have been, I guess, people out there, thieves who are messing with their wires, because I've seen people open up where it says high voltage and street lighting, and they'll tamper with the wires, and that's why there's no lighting. And we
It's
have to do
copper
something
wire
about that.
theft.
Yeah, thank you.
Lionel, and I'm going to say something with what you're saying about the speed humps. I don't know how people are, if they're aware of this or not, but there was, like you said, about 2 months ago, where you go online, and I spoke to Tiffany actually about that. And I was online at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was already filled. And I asked my neighbors, and none of us got through. And I think that's a good point to address, because it shouldn't be that the people who know about it at 8 o'clock in the morning, everybody should be listened to, so maybe that's something we can contact our councilman's office about too.
Yeah, Shannon, may I request that you put that on the agenda
I
for
will.
next month, and that we get one of our guys from DOT here?
I love that.
Because, I don't think it should be a window necessarily, because safety is safety. Safety isn't relevant between April 1st and March 3rd, so that's a good point, Lionel.
And it's a one time a year deal, which is silly.
That's, I'm not sure I even knew about it. Not that I need to know about everything, but a speed bump, we shouldn't be limited to applying for a speed bump between.
And it should be like a lottery.
Yeah, it's not a lottery. It's important for everybody. So
I'll put that on the agenda, and I'll talk to you about contacting the DOT.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I see Jonathan has his hand raised.
Okay, Jonathan?
Thank you. I would like to say that meeting of the Public Works, I want you to understand that when Tess and I went there, the way that happened is I've built a relationship with Tess that she understands if she needs support. I've told her, just call me, just tell me what to do. And that's what I think all of us should be doing, because in Tess, if you haven't recognized, we have an extremely talented gift in our neighborhood council.
Absolutely.
She makes a huge difference, and all we need to do is be supportive. I don't have a particular education or background in any of this stuff. All I do is read it as quickly as I can, try to figure out how I can actress my way through it in order to say the right things for my community. When at that meeting, what I want you to know is these commissioners were clueless about all of the problems, but they weren't hearing from two community members complaining. They were hearing from Tess and I, who knew who the project manager was, who the vendor was, how long the contract has been going on, what's been going on, how much it cost. It wasn't as if they had whiners calling in from the community. No, they didn't have that. That's not what Greater Toluca Lake has as its neighborhood council. They were getting a lot of information, and they were listening. And there's not a doubt in my business head that we made a difference, because it was right after that. And this is all Tess's motivation. Tess knows how to look at a problem, to desensitize, to figure out what's going on. And like I said, she went all the way down to City Hall, and she was serious and angry with these people. And she did a great job. She really, really did a fantastic job. I told her, I've never heard you speak better if it takes you being angry, because they told her it was a public meeting, and it turned out not to be. It was a Zoom meeting. But it doesn't take a lot of effort for us to get behind her, to just know generally what's going on, and she'll help you. You don't need to be smart, or you don't have to have a history in it, but putting yourself in a position to subordinate to Tess is good for our community, because she's highly motivated and highly intelligent. And I would appreciate it if everyone would try to give a little in order to support her efforts, or any board member's efforts who are on the cutting lines of getting things done. Thanks.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan. And I'll just, and I appreciate the kind words. It makes such a difference to go there in person. I've now met with Councilmember Krikorian, now President Krikorian, in person at City Hall. I've gone down to testify in person for the Board of Public Works, and showing up makes such, and I've testified now several times on at the board of the LAPD Police Commission Board, once on behalf of the Neighborhood Council, when I read that letter of support, and then on other occasions on behalf of the Residents Association. So it really does make a difference, especially when there are not very many public commenters there, number one, or number two. You speak with facts and submit your testimony in writing as well, because I had two commissioners from the Board of Public Works reach out to me directly, and one of the commissioners from the LAPD Commission made mention of my public comment on Twitter regarding the street lighting, and that can't have hurt us either. So anyway, but thank you, Jonathan.
And Tess, can you notify, like when something comes up that you find that you need support, or you need to think that I need to know, or any of us?
Sure.
I appreciate that. That way we can go together, however.
Well, yeah, the meetings occur regularly, and when there's an issue that I think needs attention, I go. So
Okay.
I will let you know. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Okay, thank you. So that's the streetlights. Any other comments?
For new business, I had I just came back from a place called Sun Valley, Idaho. I just got off the plane, and their community is a beautiful little community like our community, and it's about the same size and has great character like ours does. And they had a very novel way of dealing with their street crossings. As you're aware, we have some issues. For instance, the crosswalk between right near Patty's restaurant, which is not illuminated, and there's no street light there. It's very, very dangerous. I ate at Patty's twice a week at least, and I see someone almost get hit there. I mean, almost get hit, meaning like someone walk across halfway through the median or the walkway, and a car will zoom by at 45, 50 miles an hour and not even stop. And sometimes, they might not be seen as pedestrians. And so Sun Valley had a really smart, low tech, low cost, effective way to deal with this. On each side of the street, between a crosswalk, they had these flags, and a small little flagpole about 18 inches or about 2 feet long, and an orange, neon orange or white or colored flag about 18 inches square, and a little pole on each side. And you would simply take the flag and look both ways and cross the intersection, not waving, just holding the flag. And it made traffic, made the pedestrians so much more visible to the cars. And I just thought it was a really smart idea. And I took many pictures, and I'd like to bring this up, maybe put this idea on the agenda just to discuss it more. There's nothing high tech about this or expensive, and it might not be all it does is make the pedestrians much more visible. And I believe it creates a safer crossing environment. I'll send pictures around if you're interested in seeing them.
And Colby sent a picture of it. And what's amazing about it is to get any sort of lighting or signals or anything like that we've been working on I've been here for 35 years, and we still haven't gotten anything at Clybourne. It's been talked about for 35 years that I've been here. And to do something that we can do as a community, and that's probably won't even have to be paid by,
yeah, I could do it. I could go to Home Depot and I could do this myself.
Right. And
here's the flag. I can't really, it's like, here's a picture of, let me see where
over here.
I'm a little slow on the camera. It's backwards. A little flag. Let me find a better photo. Here. So there's a stand on the intersection, and it describes what to do. See that little sign? And then beneath the sign is, everything's a little slow here. These flags, and these are on each side of every intersection, or most intersections in Sun Valley, Idaho. And it's really cool because it just, if you're wearing black clothing or dark clothing at night or during the day, or if the sun's shining in the driver's eyes, it just really stands out. Because I was both a pedestrian and a driver. I rented a car there, and it really helped me see pedestrians. And I think it could save a life.
And I do like the fact that it is a grassroots effort, and we could not just, if there's other places in Toluca Lake that need it, that's something that we can do that's at minimal cost, and maybe have sponsors as a business or as a resident who will do that. And And the cost is minimal, like you said, and even if somebody lit it on fire, it'd be easy to replace
They
it,
could be
you know?
stolen, anything, we, whatever, and our logo could be put as you said, our logo could be put up and printed on these flags to raise awareness for Greater Toluca Lake also.
Is there much of a homeless community there, Colby? Because
There's not, but
Okay.
again, there's no, I didn't see any homeless people, but I know if you're concerned about stealing the flags, it's possible they could steal the flags, but the flags are so inexpensive. Anyway, it just seemed like a good something to try, or at least talk about.
I love that. Do you want that? Should we put that on the agenda for next month?
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, and in the meantime, we can investigate it too.
Yeah, I'll send pictures to you guys, and you guys can even we can distribute the photos. Jonathan has his hand raised.
Hi, Jonathan.
On Kobe's idea with the flags, I'll tell you something firsthand that I noticed that and then I read about what Kobe's talking about. I've actually read about when people hold flags walking across an intersection, something happens psychologically for drivers that they feel inclined or compelled to obey the flag, whereas they do not feel compelled or willing to submit to the etiquette required to allow a pedestrian to pass in front of them. Now, I can tell you, the Vineland, what we call the five-way Vineland, Camarillo,
Like Jack's
Lancashire,
hamburgers?
that massive,
Yes.
okay, for over a year, I had to walk with a walker. Okay, I'd had a terrible experience. In any case, I got used to crossing that intersection with the walker. And people were so respectful. The first time when I could break free of my walker after lots and lots of surgeries and therapies, I almost got killed in that intersection without my walker because people had no patience for me. But with a walker, they did. And what I read about those flags is it's the same peculiar behavior that those flags get. And I just think we should move forward on it. I think it's a great idea. Thank you.
I think so too.
Thank you.
Great.
Okay, we'll put that on the agenda. Let's try to put that on the agenda. Very good.
Great.
That's all I had.
That's great. And just to go back a little bit, because it says I had on the agenda My 311 and homeless services. We already covered that. Just, I don't know if there's any discussion on that.
Yeah,
but-
did we skip ahead?
Yeah, that's
I
okay.
see. I went to new business instead of ongoing.
Oh, no, that's okay. Because we talked about just the importance of My 311 and the homeless services, just having the information for people to, contact who they need to contact.
you were so
Right.
full of zeal, Colby.
Who was,
I was so
I know.
excited. I saw this and I had this like epiphany. I thought this is really cool.
I think it's
Because,
amazing.
and it was so simple and so inexpensive. That was all. Anyway,
Okay,
I don't get
is
too
it-
excited. As you know, I don't get very excited, do I? I usually don't skip ahead and jump around.
No,
That's
we appreciate
something
that.
interesting for me to get excited.
Anything else? We're close to our meeting being adjourned.
I don't see any hands raised or flags
Okay.
raised.
So, Robin, it's 8:10.
8:10, great.
Yes.
Oh.
Next meeting is February
Oh,
6th.
I think we have one more hand raised from
Okay.
Jonathan, or
Hi,
is
Jonathan.
that
Well,
it?
I'm confused. Don't we have on the agenda homeless services?
No, I was just saying that we went back with Officer Delbar. If there's anything you'd like to say, I would love it. The reason I put that on the agenda was so to be able to talk about what you need to do to contact, somebody who
Okay.
is in need.
Okay, well, before we break,
Yeah.
I won't take a long time to just say this, but on homeless services, I would like to say something.
Yes.
We're starting a new year, and that means we're ending a year. And I just spent a long time listening to people who lie a lot. And one of the biggest sources of lies is this organization called LAHSA, LAHSA. And that means Housing Services Authority, okay, LA. What I would like to tell you is I'm not willing to listen to this stuff anymore without fighting back. In other words, I've been reserved as I always am when I feel like I'm on the beginning learning curve. I keep my mouth shut, I listen and I listen. But one of the turning points was at the Studio City Neighborhood Council meeting where Lorraine spoke. Okay, she's the director for our council. It's a conflagration of information trying to figure out who does what and exactly what their mandates are. But what is clear to me is that these people are paid a lot of money to do a job, And in something like 3 to 4 years in Los Angeles, $7 billion has been pumped into this issue of what's going on in our streets. And they call them homeless and they call them all sorts of things, unsheltered. But the reality is we don't see homeless families milling about on our public areas. What we see is disenfranchised individuals who appear to be psychiatrically bothered, addicted to drugs, criminally dependent, opportunists taking advantage of nothing being expected of them. And the last thing we see is resilience. We see absolutely no resilience. And in none of these programs is there anything compelling these people to be personally resilient or responsible for their own decisions that have, in many cases, led them to that situation, which they are preferring over a shelter bed because we have empty shelter beds in our district. Anyways, with that said, I don't want to go on and on about it, but I want to set the pace for a new year that I'm not doing this anymore. I am not going to indulge any more of this conversation that's fundamentally lies. Now, Tess has a meeting coming up on the 5th, and she's addressing part of what's going on, which is, if I'm not mistaken, the care, Tess, in your government affairs.
That's tomorrow, the 3rd. Yes.
Oh, it's on the 3rd. Okay.
Yes.
I'm confused because Luis put the 5th on his email. So it's definitely on the 3rd.
It's definitely on the 3rd.
Okay. So anyways, if you're not feeling fluent on these issues, you're not different than me. I didn't know anything about this when I started with the neighborhood council. But little by little, other board members can bring you along, but you got to show up. You got to listen, and I've done a lot of reading, but just by listening to people talk, you start to pick up on what's going on. And this care thing, you just come to her meeting, because I have words to say about this. And I'm glad people like Tess put that on the meeting. I didn't ask her to put it there. It just shows up because she knows what's going on. And she's right. It's something we ought to be talking about. But everything I just said ought to be on our minds, that we're being lied to and we're being forced into a place. This whole thing with Tiffany, writing about people ripping down postings and telling us we're supposed to want to build relationships with these people to get them housed. These people don't want to be housed. When are we going to get the message? It's like suddenly we're empowering people to live on our streets for free with no responsibilities. In the world I live, housing costs money. It's not a right. It's something you pay for. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan.
All right. It looks like we have time for one more comment. I see Lionel Mars hand raised.
Yes, thank you very much. Very briefly, I just want to remind that about the LADOT speed humps. I already applied for mines and I already completed process 2. So I just want to remind you all that if you go through this process yourself, that it's a lengthy process, because in process step 3 is for a speed study. And that's it's going to take a couple of months according to the email that I read. And they make you gather signatures from your neighbors on that street, depending on what street you're asking for. And they require at least a minimum of 10 signatures and how many streets you're looking for. So just a heads up. And number 2, we're having the Los Angeles Neighborhood Council Coalition meeting is this Saturday on Zoom from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can check it out, www.lancc.org. And for the 12th of January, which is next Thursday, not this Thursday, but the 12th, we're having our bank meeting because your Valley Neighborhood Council is at from 6:30 to 9 p.m. Via the bank 34.org website. And Linda Gravani is the chair. And that concludes my comment. Thank you.
Yeah, I think, Lionel, that I've met you at one of those meetings. Those are coalition meetings of various groupings of neighborhood councils, which is useful because then you get an overview of what's happening throughout an entire region. And Lionel, if you would be so kind as to send me a link to that DOT speed bump schedule / application, I would love to see it. Thank you so much for being here, Lionel.
Me as well. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
great.
All right, call.
I don't see any other hands raised, Shannon.
Okay. Date 17, a meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you
Good
all.
night, everyone.
Thank you.